So what is life like on a luxury liveaboard dive boat? Well, I'm going to tell you what our 12 days looked like. Randy and I have been traveling the world for over a year now. Currently, we are in Southeast Asia, and we've been here for the past 4 to 5 months. We absolutely love Indonesia. Indonesia is so vast. It's the world's largest archipelago of islands with over 18,000 islands. Indonesia offers some of the best scuba diving in the world. One of the best ways to explore and dive Indonesia is on a liveaboard dive boat. There are many dive boat operators available to choose from in Indonesia. Everything from budget to luxury. We decided to try a luxury liveaboard. To get to some of the more unique and exclusive areas for diving, it becomes more expensive. Some of the extra costs to consider is extra for park fees, and in some cases, in the real remote areas, it will require your dive boat negotiating with local villages. There is also extra costs involved in just getting to some of these remote areas to meet your vessel. For example, just to get to our boat, the Arenui in Samlaki on Tanimbar Island, it required us flying from Jakarta to Ambon and then Ambon to Samlaki. Each of these segments was costing us $250 to $350 Canadian. A few weeks ago, we had the opportunity to join the Arenui liveaboard. It was a private charter arranged by another guest. There were 13 additional guests, all from the United States and one from the UK. When this group was put together, the only requirement was no assholes. As mentioned, it's not easy getting to the meeting point at Samlaki to meet the Arenui. We were lucky because we were already traveling in Southeast Asia. The rest of the guests, they were arriving from the west and east coast of the United States and the UK, which can take up to 40 hours before you even arrive in Samlaki.
So I would imagine a lot of you folks are thinking right now, oh my goodness, 15 different people, jet lagged, heading off on a small boat for 11 days. There's going to be some problems. It's the exact opposite. I found that on liveaboards, everyone always seems to get along. And I attribute that to the fact that, you know, we all love the oceans and we love exploring them. And there's just a camaraderie that is built right from the get-go, and it's just always been great. Couple questions for you.
Yes.
How long have you been diving? How many years?
So John arrived almost 3 days later after 4 flights and 1 very long ferry ride. I have to say I am gobsmacked by John's journey. John is 77 and he made this journey alone. John is smart, witty, and has so many great stories to tell. I hope I can still be diving around the world at 77 like John.
While you can't,
Yeah.
you know.
So you're never too old to dive.
That's exactly right.
All right. Thanks, John.
All right.
We were so excited about this trip through the Forgotten Islands. These are trip of a lifetime moments for us. Randy and I both love diving. This was also a time to pamper ourselves on the luxurious Arenui. When we travel, we like to mix things up and have different experiences. Some are luxury, and sometimes to get to the less tourist areas requires us to keep an open mind, and often those places are not so luxurious. The day had finally arrived. We were picked up at our hotel by one of the dive masters, Ferry, from the Arenui. Ferry asked us, well, where's your luggage? We have both been traveling the small backpacks. We recommend 35 to 40 liters for travel. Many of the domestic flights in Asia only allow 7 kilograms for carry-on. We arrived at the port and one of the Arenui tenders was there to pick us up in the harbor. The Arenui was now finally in our sights. As we got closer and closer, the more magnificent the Arenui looked. It's a masterpiece of craftsmanship and love. So just a little history about our dive boat, the Arenui. The Arenui story began in 2007 when it was handcrafted by 50 local craftsmen from southern Sulawesi. The name of the boat, Arenui, means big wave in Tahitian. I don't know how to say big dream in Tahitian, but Randy and I were about to live a big dream. Our tender pulled up to the boat, the stairs were lowered, the welcoming staff were there, and they were out waving and cooing in their very unique way. Walking up the steps, our journey was about to begin. Our two cruise directors, Miha and Marco, introduced themselves, and then we met the rest of the staff. There are 23 staff members on the Arenui, and our charter, there were 15 guests. You gotta love that. We were about to get completely spoiled. As guests, we are not supposed to lift anything. Everything is done for you in the Arenui way. I think I love this. Miss Jill, Mr. Randy, would you like a latte, cappuccino, Americano? So this was just the start. Marco showed us to our room to where we would be spending the next 11 nights. The rooms, oh my gosh, they are incredible. So much more than I had expected. The rooms are large with such lovely en-suites. One of the things that really impressed me is the attention to details from the unique carvings that are built right into the hull, to the light fixtures, to the artwork, the bedding. The ambiance is warm and luxurious. Actually, that's throughout the entire boat. The art, the thought, the care is felt everywhere. Randy, how is it?
It's absolutely unbelievable. The intricate artwork.
I'm going to show you on here.
It's amazing.
Like, look at this.
That's carved right.
Is unbelievable.
Oh, and it's a good bed.
Sounds good, and sounds like people have just arrived, so I think we should go upstairs and meet everyone. After getting settled in, the rest of the group arrived. It was time to meet everyone and for the Arenui to set off on our journey. The first day is about getting settled, meeting everyone, and learning what to expect in the days ahead. Diving begins on the second day. getting further and further out of the port and out to sea, we were all now off-grid. It was time to disconnect from all the distractions in life. No more scrolling through our devices. The further away we went, I think the more free we felt. I know I did. I think it's really good for our souls to stop and disconnect. The remoteness feels like an embrace back to nature. Who cares anymore about your 3,000 emails? So for our dive group, everyone was very experienced divers, and everyone was also nitrox certified. This will give everyone more bottom time. I think I was the least experienced with only 31 dives under my belt, so I was feeling a little intimidated at first. You know, as a rookie diver, it always feels good for me to get my first dive in. Many of the other guests, like I said, they're really experienced divers, and many of them were underwater photographers, and their photographs and videos are, oh my gosh, they're stunning. I recently purchased a GoPro 12. I decided that I needed to concentrate on my diving instead of photography. I also wanted to see everything in the moment and not through a lens, especially as a new diver. After our first night, the seas had been really quite rocky. We arrived at our first dive site in the early morning. For the next 11 days, our days would look like this. You start off with a continental breakfast that would start around 5:30 a.m. and then you'd go to your first briefing, which starts at 7:30 a.m. and out to the dive site for 8 a.m. Randy and I were usually up around 6:30, sipping some lattes and having some fruit and homemade granola each morning. For every briefing, one of the dive masters will get up and talk about what each of the dive sites is like, and to talk about what the water temperature is, what the visibility is, what the currents are doing, whether it was strong or light or a medium current, which direction we were going to go, and just to give us a heads up of what to expect. For our charter, we were divided up into 4 groups with individual dive masters for each group. The maximum is 4 divers per dive master. So everybody's just getting ready for their first dive. Everybody ready for their first dive? Yeah.
Yes, we are. Not, well, actually, no.
Getting there. You ready?
We're ready.
Excellent.
Mark, our dive master.
Yeah.
Hello,
Hello.
Mark's the man.
Yes. And that's the dancer.
That's just the dance instructor.
Dance instructor.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm jealous. Can you teach me, man?
Hey, haven't you seen his moves? He's got some moves.
Of course.
He's got
Yeah,
it
I can
going
tell.
on.
Just wait for the end of the trip.
Yeah.
Dancing.
Okay.
Once the briefings were completed, it was time to dive. We would stagger the groups, always having 2 early groups and then 2 fashionably late groups. The 2 tenders would load up the first 2 groups while the fashionably late group put on their gear. Everything is loaded onto the tenders for the divers. All the cameras, masks, and various gadgets. Remember, no one is to lift a finger for anything.
This is what you call real service. Jill can't even take her wetsuit off.
After 60 to 75 minutes under the water, we headed back to the boat for breakfast. The breakfast is full of everyone's favorites, from French toast to any type of egg preparation, bacon, sausage, and there's lattes, cappuccinos, and Miss Jill is happy. Then it's time to chill out for a little while before your next dive, briefing, and dive. Our next dive briefing would be starting at 10:30 and then out to dive again. Lunch is then served at 12:30 and the menu has been set by the chef. The chef, in a moment's notice, could accommodate anyone who is vegetarian, gluten intolerant, or had any other food allergies. Amazing. After our second dive and lunch, it's time to lounge, nap, or read a book. The third dive briefing and dive of the day would take place around 2:30 p.m. For Randy and I, 3 dives a day is more than sufficient for us. And then it was time for us to shower, relax for the evening. There would always be delicious appetizers served daily, as dinner would be scheduled for 8 p.m. A 4th dive is offered every day, and this is a night dive. After the 4th briefing, the night dive started always around 6 p.m. It's dusk and it's a beautiful time of the day to watch all the night divers go out. Everyone always returned thrilled and excited of all their findings of all the little creatures from down below. Dinner was served at 8 p.m. and our maitre d's, Reef and Little Dino, would announce our meals, which felt like the most special event every night. Our dinners were always superb and first class. It felt like we were eating at a Michelin star restaurant every day.
We have fish and chips and Baligan grilled chicken. And I don't forget about the rice. And then we have salted vegetables. For the dessert, we have sliced fruit and cheese board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all of here. Thank you very much and enjoy lunch.
Hello. And this is the cooking staff here on the Arenui. So far, amazing. At one of the dive sites on Dewara Island, we dove only 2 times. And then we ventured off the boat. We visited this darling little town called Wellora. What makes Wellora so special is that it actively protects the reef in the Utica Marine Park. The village is very small and has only 126 people living there. Just because it's small, it doesn't mean it can't make big changes. Our group was met with a marching band. The official welcome straw hats was presented to Jeff and Marianne, who organized this entire trip. What an amazing job.
Ole tuala! Oi! All right. Ole tuala! Oi! Ole tuala! Oi! Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Some of the group brought gifts for the children, like swim goggles, pencil crayons, and markers. The children, oh my gosh, they were so thrilled. What a beautiful experience. The town put together some home cooked
Melora.
treats for everyone to enjoy. We felt so welcomed. Soon it was time to go and leave this precious little place and say goodbye to Willora. Another special and unique moment happened on one of the night dives. New to the Arenui is blackwater diving. Have you ever heard of blackwater diving? Well, blackwater diving occurs at night in the open ocean at extreme depths. We were in the Banda Sea in about 15 to 20,000 feet. The divers are then tethered to the boat by a rope with a maximum depth of 60 feet. Oh my gosh, it was so cool and exciting to watch all the divers go out. Everyone came up thrilled to have seen some of the strangest creatures from the deep. We were pretty lucky, and I would say almost all the dive sites were fantastic. Life on a liveaboard has been one of the best experiences that we have ever had while traveling. As divers, a liveaboard offers a lot of flexibility, so you can dive in the best locations in the most optimal conditions. If the visibility is poor in one area, you can easily move on to find better areas.
You know, there was some times during this trip, during our dives, that, it took my breath away. Some of the moments were meeting my first group of hammerhead sharks, and they appeared right from below us, and they came right up, and then they just did a circular curve right around us in almost touching distance. Another moment was I was looking up and I could see the sun coming down, and then there was this shadow, and it was like this great big tornado of barracudas. As a new diver, it's stunning. Our 12 days on the Arenui went like that. And now it's time to say goodbye to all our new friends and to the Arenui. The staff said goodbye in the Arenui way, with love and charm. Our last evening, it was so much fun, and the memories will remain in all of our hearts forever. Thank you to the Arenui for the best experience ever. Stay tuned for more travel stories. We'll be heading to Raja Ampat in Indonesia, and there we'll be boarding another liveaboard called the Arenui. So please share, like, and subscribe for more stories.